Welcome to the Tax Insights Podcast, your trusted source for unraveling the mysteries of taxes. Today, Jeff, a certified public accountant, is here to demystify paycheck withholding. Ever wondered what those 0, 1, 2 numbers mean and how they affect your taxes? In this episode, Jeff explains the ins and outs of paycheck withholding, its impact on your tax situation, and strategies to make the system work for you. Get ready to take control of your financial future. This is the Tax Insights Podcast, where the professionals at Hawkins Ash CPAs break down complex tax topics into bite-sized how-tos.
Last week, Terry, we talked about people that couldn't necessarily pay their tax that they owed on April 15th. And so we talked about installment plans and just other things that can be done to be able to pay those taxes. Well, maybe the reason why you owe taxes is because you're just not having enough withheld off of your paycheck each week or every 2 weeks.
Sure.
So, what I would recommend at that point is really look at how much withholding is coming off your check. Is it too little? Is it too much? At the end of the day, it's up to every individual person. Do you want to just barely break even where you really don't owe anything at the end of the year? Or do you like to get that big refund? And withholding off your paycheck has a lot to do with what happens at the end of the year.
Sure. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, what do those numbers mean?
Yeah, so a lot of that has kind of gone away. If you're doing your state one, you still have, the 0, 1s, and 2s. And basically the 0 means that you just don't have any exemptions. 1 means is that you have 1, 2, etc. As that number increases, the amount of withholding goes down because, for a lot of state purposes and things like that, you actually get deductions for having extra dependents.
Right.
So having those deductions give you less tax, so you need less withholding. So just know a 0 and filing as single is going to give you the most withholding that they have on the tables. And if you have a single and 10, that's going to be a lot less.
Right, which means then if you're doing a 0, you're going to get less taken off on your paycheck, correct? Or is that reverse?
The other way around, yes.
Okay.
So it actually means that you'll get more taken off, and so potentially you'll get a bigger refund.
There we go. So, and again, some people's budget purposes, as you're saying, when we were talking about last week, if all of a sudden you owe money at the end of the year, this is a great way to start looking at, okay, how do we make some adjustments moving forward?
Right. And the federal actually, they did a new form over the last couple of years, and the form is actually fairly confusing. But at the end of the day, there is a line on that new form that says, hey, I want extra withholding taken off of every check. So if you think you're going to be in a situation where you're going to owe at the end of the year, just file a new W-4 with your employer and ask that even though the table says this amount, I want this amount plus $100 taken off of each check.
So you can do that.
Which will help you at the end of the year.
You can do that. You can dictate to the employer what you want withheld.
Absolutely, because they're just going to use the table amount in most cases. So if you tell them, hey, use the table plus $100, it's going to help.
So last question here, because time is running out. Can you change that throughout the year?
Absolutely. Yeah, depending on your employer, you can change it on a monthly basis. You could change it on a daily basis. Your employer's not going to like you. But, so I would suggest maybe looking at it maybe at least on a semi-annual basis, if not a quarterly basis, just to make sure you're right on track.
Got it. Jeff, great information every week here on Tax Insight. Listeners, reach out to Jeff over at Hawkins Ash. Jeff, best way of reaching out to you guys?
I would go right to our website, which is hawkinsash.cpa, or visit us on our social media where we have a lot of these kind of conversations.
There we go. We'll talk to you again next week on Tax Insight.
This has been Tax Insights, presented by Hawkins Ash CPAs. Learn more online at hawkinsashcpas.com. Hawkins Ash CPAs, part of your business, part of your life.